think Sneaky's really good. I have like a really high level of respect for him. I've actually wanted to play versus Sneaky for like a super long time.
Oh, he stole it! Are you kidding me? The Elder Dragon! Sneaky! What was that?
My think about Impact is he was world champions, and so far he's so good.
Suddenly it's bad if you're Impact, but maybe it's not. Just kidding, First Blood.
Feels pretty good to like get to actually play him on the main stage in LCS.
I want to become him because I want to copy his style. He's kind of like Final Boss, I guess, for me.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 4 of the North American LCS. We are fast approaching the midpoint of the summer split, and fans have packed the Battle Arena and Theater to see their favorite teams fight their way up the standings. Echo Fox arrived earlier in the day, and they're looking for some wins under new coach Ginkgo today. They're going to have a tough battle, though, going up against TSM, led here by their sports psychologist, Weldon, and you can find those games on NALCS, too. Over in the Battle Arena, though, Cloud9 are getting set up for their first series. Jensen and Meteos here getting fully set up. And, of course, Reaper behind them, getting ready to go up against Team EnVy. Bot lane duo Lod and Hakuo setting up their peripherals. They've put up some stellar performances so far this split, and they'll continue to do so. And, of course, as always at the LCS, security hard at work, keeping out any nefarious or suspicious characters. But it looks like, yeah, all right, it checks out. I'll give that to you. Welcome to the desk. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm James Dash Patterson. As always, on the desk with me, the Blame Game Reddit shamer, Mark Zimmerman. How you doing today?
I don't shame Reddit. I'm one of them. I'm a Redditor at heart, dude.
Is that it? You're part of the Reddit family?
Yeah, I'm just like trying to correct them. You know, it's like that kid, you know, he's a little off the path, and you're like, no, you should really,
Gotcha.
you know.
Just nudging them in the right direction.
Just giving them a little guidance.
I respect that. I respect that. Sometimes Reddit needs that. Well, before we get into the day's discussion, let's quickly take a look at the current standings. At the top, TSM, Immortals, and EnVy. In the middle of the pack, we've got Cloud9, Liquid, and Apex, and the bottom 4 teams in order: CLG, Echo Fox, Energy, and Phoenix 1. But now for a look at the action we've got coming up on both streams today. NALCS 1 hosts Cloud9 versus EnVy, followed by Immortals and Liquid's matchup. Meanwhile, in the Battle Arena, TSM takes on Echo Fox with Energy and Phoenix 1 following in the second series. Now tomorrow, look out for that match of the week you won't want to miss. Tune into NALCS 2 at noon Pacific for Team EnVy's battle with TSM. Now that's sure to be a hyped matchup, but first, Team EnVy, well, they've got to go through another test going up against Cloud9 today.
I think this is one of the more interesting matchups because Cloud9 is a team that we've seen struggle a little bit in the macro game, and I think that's one of EnVy's strengths. And so I think, you know, this will really put C9 to the test in terms of, you know, how coordinated they are as a team, but C9 will put EnVy to the test in terms of how talented are they. Are you up to like handling the top level of talent? So.
Right, I was gonna say, I think that this week, week 4 here, if EnVy can make it through this, putting up a couple good performances, we'll be able to solidly say that this team belongs in the top tier of the LCS as the newcomers.
They kind of got beat up by Immortals. Like, those games were really close, even though it was a 2-0. It wasn't like a convincing 2-0 like we saw in like the, you know, the Team Liquid games from last night. It wasn't anything like that, but at the same time, they do need to start winning actual series against the top teams because just looking good isn't enough.
Exactly. Well, last night we had a couple of great series with Immortals and Liquid ultimately claiming victory, but today the 2 winners face off against one another. So one of them is not ending this week 2-0.
Nope, and I would probably reckon it's not Team Liquid. I think this is a terrible matchup for Team Liquid in the sense like both these teams are super aggressive, but IMT just does it better. Like Immortals just is the better aggressive team. They're both a little crazy. They'll both make mistakes, but when it comes down to it, Immortals is better at punishing those. And I think that Team Liquid is the kind of team that once they start losing, they're just like, let's keep trying, and Immortals will just keep punishing over and over.
That being said, Team Liquid, at least in the small sample size that we've seen with both Dardoch and Fabi in the lineup, have looked a lot more cohesive as a unit, right?
Yeah, I think this will be the kind of thing that will be a good test for that duo. It's like the first really hard team that they've come up against. We saw Fabi with some incredible accuracy and arrows last night, and if he's able to, you know, get that Ashe and start sniping people off like this, I can see Team Liquid being able to blow some people up and maybe take advantage.
I think the major difference for me, obviously, between Fabi and Piglet is just the champion pool, right? The style of play that these 2 players provide for the team, and given that Phoenix has kind of stepped up into a more carry-oriented role in that mid lane, and even Lorlo occasionally dropping onto things like the Aurelia or the Trundle,
bundle, it's now okay for them to play the utility ADCs, and Fabi's been stepping into that position quite well, whereas Piglet would be the one jumping for the Lucians, the Caitlyn's, things that want to carry.
Yeah, it's definitely just like the mindset of playing those champions. You can't go in there and like try and bully someone out of lane super hard. It's like not what that champion really does. You kind of farm up, you work with the team to get picks or engage team fights, and it's just not the same style that Piglet plays, and it's something that I think Fabi might have an advantage in, but though I think most people would never say that like Fabi's better than Piglet or anything like that.
Right, at least on an individual level, and at least maybe not right now.
That's
of course, with Team Liquid, they finished 2-0. Immortals, they got the win, but it was in a 2-1 series over CLG, losing game 1, but then looking dominant in games 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the Immortal style in a little bit, where like they'll make some mistakes, they'll give up a game, but then they'll like wake up in a sense and they'll start smashing you. And I think that is kind of the team they are. Like you can expect to see some more mistakes in the first couple games as they kind of rein themselves back in from what they were probably doing in scrims that whole week, where they were just like, oh, we're through 3 turrets. Like, uh-oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pobelter himself said in his interview yesterday with Jat that the best of 3 format has definitely allowed them to try more things.
Right.
They're more willing to drop a game, not that you want to drop a game, but they're more willing to try something new because you have that game to spare. So the best of 3 format maybe makes it look like they're not as strong a team as they were in Spring Split because they are dropping games, but it's also helping them discover this meta and really understand it, or so they say.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, but to the same point, they're still playing like Aurelia like 6 games in a row for Huni and things like that. So it's not like, you know, they're whipping something totally out of the blue out. But at the same time, it is true that like you will have a couple more experiments with, you know, even if it's not like a comp change, you'll just try like a different mid in the comp or something like that.
All right, well, we're not done teasing this matchup quite yet, and we've talked a lot about top lane influence this split. So before we go any further, let's hear what Huni has to say about his opponent in the top lane in today's matchup.
I would say he knows how to play like meta champion, and like he used to be really good at Irelia. I paired it, but I have no clue because I didn't play any solo queue last year. So everyone was saying, "Oh, Lola Irelia is so good. He used to play Irelia so much. He used to be one-trick pony at Irelia." But just, I don't know. I can play whatever, so I'm not scary at all as well.
I love that voice he's using.
Yeah, it's just
that mysterious other person, third party that's feeding him all this inside information about Lorlos.
This guy's coming in like, hey, watch out, he's got an Aurelia. Like, so do most people now.
I know, right, exactly. Well, that's the thing. But I mean, you already talked about the fact that Huni's played Aurelia a lot. That could be a very contested champion in the top lane between these two guys. But how do you feel Lorlo can fare against the likes of Huni in this top lane?
I think he does fine in terms of like a one-on-one matchup. I don't think you'll see like solo kills or things like that, but what really separates Immortals and Huni is his synergy with Reignover.
Right.
And I know that, you know, Dardoch and Lorlo have a little bit of a bromance too, but it's definitely not as strong as the Huni Reignover pain train. Right. So I think, you know, Lorlo will get tested in terms of that, how he reacts to that synergy versus how he reacts one-on-one to Huni.
The Huni Reignover bromance is a thing of legend, to be honest. But over the past couple of weeks, we've been asking you to send us your favorite moments by tweeting with the hashtag LCS Big Plays, and last night was no exception. You highlighted some great moments, including this play from Immortals versus CLG, called out by Janana Party, fantastic name, who tweeted, Pobelter letting all that blood flow with that triple kill, filthy move after the Kindred ult. Here's your LCS Big Play.
Is forced to pop the ultimate, which actually helps Huni stay alive. Pobelter charges it, gets 3 right off the bat there. Absolutely insane play there on the Vladimir.
Nice.
Help me here.
Vladimir.
Careful. Undertow is going to hit him just at the edge, and they're going to be able to chase him down. First blood, Team Liquid.
And a little bonus clip there.
Just a little Dardoch action for fun.
Bonus clip.
Hype up the match.
In case this wasn't enough. No, I mean, Pobelter put on some really impressive performances yesterday, picking up a couple player of the games for himself. I mean, we've really seen the mid laners actually in both series because Phoenix as well picked up 2 player of the game. So I think that matchup specifically is going to be very exciting to watch outside of the top lane matchup.
Right. I think what's interesting too is both those guys are like big carries for their team, but they're not like the focal points. You know, it's a lot for Immortals, Adrian's champ pool, Huni Reignover, that kind of stuff. Turtle's going crazy, and Pobelter's kind of just like in the mid lane, just being a solid rock who actually like makes a bunch of big plays for his team as well. So I think he's a little slept on. I think this is a good test for Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. And he, again, I'm calling back to this interview a lot, but in the interview with Jat, he was speaking too about how Reignover has begun to dedicate a few more resources toward that mid lane. We saw a couple early ganks going towards him, trying to put Pobelter in a position to carry because of the champion pools that have developed in the meta for the mid laners. Well, we want you to keep those tweets coming, so let us know when you see an epic moment by tweeting at @LullySports with the hashtag LCS Big Plays. And in case you missed the news yesterday, we announced the 2016 All-Star Tournament will be held in Barcelona, Spain, December 8th through the 11th. Palau Sant-Jordi will play host to all of the favorite players from around the world, so stay tuned for more information. That's going to do it for us at the desk, though, so it's time to send it over to the casters to get the games underway.